Welcome to the walkthrough of frequently made mistakes for assignment 1A in my CS 5254 course in the summer of 2023. First and foremost, please document your code thoroughly. There's a link on my course website that explains the type of commenting I'm looking for. Please read that link and follow the instructions. Henceforth, code that's not documented thoroughly will not be reviewed. Let's now take a look at an implementation set of issues with the acquire palantiri and gaze method that's defined in the simple being runnable class. First, please don't call acquire palantiri within the try block. Instead, move it to before the try block, check to see what the return value is, and then either raise the error or call the error method or go into the try block. And if you do this, then there's no need to have to check for my palantiri not equal null down below, so you can remove that as well. In addition, there's no need to catch the null pointer exception, and there's also no need to catch the illegal state exception. Those exceptions should not be thrown, and you don't need to catch them and handle them in this manner. Let's now turn our attention to some issues in the runnable thread manager class, focusing on begin being threads. So as you can see here, there's a number of ways to do this. I highly encourage you to use Java streams if you're familiar with them. But if you do, please make sure you use a method reference here rather than a Lambda expression. And in fact, the Android Studio interactive development environment should actually flag that by highlighting the Lambda expression. And when you click on that, it'll give you an option of replacing it with the corresponding method reference. So please get in the habit of doing that. Also, please make sure that you integrate the set uncaught exception handler method processing into your stream above if you use stream, either via the map intermediate operation or the peek intermediate operation. Likewise, please use the Java for each method here instead of using Java for each loop and pass a method reference to thread start to the for each method in order to start the threads. Let's take a look at another set of issues with begin being threads. Don't use a range-based for loop here or an index-based for loop, but instead use a Java for each loop. That's a cleaner way to do things. If you do that, it'll simplify the code. Also, please don't use mthread and set it directly. Use a temporary thread variable instead. mthread is not intended to be used by application code. It's used internally to the framework. And then also, this code here doesn't fulfill the specification that's provided as a comment in this method. In particular, you need to make sure that you handle the uncaught exceptions via the set uncaught exception handler, and this code is not doing that. Down here, once again, please replace the Java for each loop with a Java for each method and a method reference to thread start. It's a little cleaner and less error prone. And then down here in begin being threads, once again, please don't call start within the stream. Wait until you've created all the being threads and then call start, so they all start up at roughly the same time. And then the final issue I see here is a common mistake. There's no need to use .stream on a list if you're just going to use it with the for each operator. The for each method is defined in the list interface, which in turn gets that from the collection interface that it extends, which in turn gets that from the iterable interface that it extends. So there's no need to use a stream. You can just do mbeingthreads.forEach. And also, once again, please get in the habit of using a method reference here instead of a Lambda expression. Android Studio should flag that for you by highlighting that Lambda expression and making it very easy to replace that with the corresponding method reference. So those were the frequently made mistakes that I saw when I reviewed the submissions. Please make sure you fix them, and you'll integrate those with your assignment 1B submission, and the assignment 1B skeletons and specification and tests will be out shortly. So keep an eye out for them.